Ai, tēnā tātou e te whānau. So I know this week, I know it's Samoan Language Week. And a lot of the mahi that we do, it's all around if we can achieve biculturalism, it's a pathway to multiculturalism. So I want to acknowledge our people who fought hard to make te reo Māori an official language of Aotearoa, and then who fought really hard to make sure that we got a whole language week, Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori. Now look, here in Aotearoa we can celebrate other people of other cultures. Definitely the platform of biculturalism equals multiculturalism. So I thought, instead of coming out with the easy parts of saying a Māori whakatauki or Māori quote, I've got one that I've stolen from our Samoan community. All right? So just for the day. And I say stolen because I overuse it. Right? Just like how everybody uses the he tangata, he tangata, he tangata everywhere. Right? I use this one. And the whakatauki or the quote, and if you are Samoan, I apologise if I get it incorrect. If you're not, I've said it perfectly. Okay? So, the quote is, e fofo le ala mea, le ala mea. Right? E fofo o le ala mea, le ala mea. And the story that I got told about this whakatauki, this quote, it actually talks about the starfish in Samoa. And it's a poisonous starfish. And when I Googled it, the spikes, kind of like kina spikes, but they're like this long, right? And they're poisonous. And if you stand on those spikes, right, you'll get poisoned. All you have to do is flip that starfish over and stand on it. It has the mouth there, and the mouth sucks the poison back out. Right? I know. I was like, wow, I'm using this quote every time. Yeah, well, I know, don't stand on the starfish. When I heard about it, I didn't know how long it was. I thought it was just little spikes at the time. Right? And the reason why I say this is because it's kind of a metaphor. In Māoridom we use he kai ke aku ringa, meaning that the solutions within our community are in our community. We are the solutions to the gaps in our market. This is the Nesian Network. I'm assuming that it's short for Polynesian. All of us who come from Hawaii, all the way here, right? And we know Indigenous people worldwide. So I honour our First Nations whānau who's made this jacket, right? In terms of their tapu, very, very bright, goes with my complexion, right? And well, yeah, so everyone can see, right? So no matter what, you're making sure that the Indigenous people, we occupy all the statistics that nobody wants to occupy. All of them, we're overrepresented. And all the ones you don't want to be proud of. With the exception in New Zealand, 60% of professional sports people are brown. So that's good. All right? So that's our only one. But other than that, we're overrepresented. And this is Indigenous people worldwide. And people are trying to solve those issues. All right? They're trying to solve them everywhere. But the solution is within our people. So kia ora whānau, my name is Moka. I'm the proud founder of our own small business back in 2013, Indigenous Growth Limited. And what we do, so I've got a few participants that are in the room as well. What we do is that we use Indigenous values as the core, the hangi, centerpiece for leadership development, leadership capability. And we are very fortunate at the moment to be working with quite a few of our big organisations who hire our Māori and Pacific people. And we develop our Māori and Pacific leaders because they keep going. There's all the strategy, cultural diversity at the decision-making table. They want them in senior leadership. Well, guess what? We're not even getting to middle management. 95% of our people do not make it past team leader or supervisor role. Very rare that they are leaders of leaders. So yes, we want more representation at the senior leadership, but where are our people if we're mainly at the front line junior levels? And I know that's not a majority of people here. We went over in terms of the hero's journey. Well, how do we make our people the hero of their own story? How do they know that they're the role models for our kids? All right? So, two things that we want to talk about. Obviously, if this was a sales pitch, if you've got heaps of Māori in Pacific, then we want to come with the organisation. Why? Hidden agenda, not so hidden. We need our people promoted. All right? And we want to develop our people to do that. But if you think about those negative statistics, I think on my side growing up, and I know in terms of my tuakana, my rangatira there, Dan, you know, he talks in regards to SIFs, same thing in regards to gangs and all those natural stereotypes. So people get a little bit angry, because they stereotype us. Well, I live that stereotype, so I'm getting angry because it's true, right? But one thing I did notice, and we go with my now wife, my wife and I, that all four of our parents actually had jobs. Hey, everybody just thinks, okay, gangs, homelessness, all of that type of stuff. But all four of our parents had jobs. The only time we saw them happy were at the parties. They were really happy, by the way. Hey, very, very happy. So what we noticed there is even when we're working in homelessness, even though we're working in the prisons and all of that type of stuff, where's the aspiration? What happens if we stop them from being homeless? What happens if we get them out of prison? What happens if we smash those statistics? What's the alternative option? Is it really a viable option to earn an honest living? Is that viable for our people? Based on the statistics, 60 hours a week on minimum wage or living wage, it shows that it's not. Because if that's the only time that we're seeing our parents happy, and me as a son goes to my dad and go, hey dad, how's work? Son, another day, another dollar. Son, work's work. All right? He didn't say this back in the day, but he would have said it. Thank God it's Friday. TGIF. All right? Is that really going to motivate? Is that really going to inspire our kids to want to be better? When your alternative to easy, quick success, crime, is the hard path that you actually don't even get a chance to. And this is a statistic that we really want to change, right? So we want to have a look at our people who have jobs. They're the role models. They're the superheroes that our kids and communities yearn for. You are, right? Because if you were to die tomorrow, your company would have to replace you. But the gap will be in the ones that you love. That's the gap that can't be filled. So what are we doing to make sure that we got that quality of life and we know how to be a better version of ourselves in terms of that? Right? And that's what we're looking at. So yes, for Māori in Pacific, because very passionate about conquering those statistics. But we're also going, well, what is our work life like? How are we leading ourselves? How are we making sure that we're taking those opportunities? Because I know for my son, who's 11 months, I've done really well. It took me about 6 minutes before I mentioned him, right? Usually only takes 30 seconds. Quite smitten about my little. I know the least he's going to be as an entrepreneur. Least he's going to be as a business owner. All good to have The Rock and Gary Vee and all of those types of people. But the role models who make the most difference are the ones at home, right? And if they're going home and they don't even want to talk about the place that's literally taken the best of their time because the rest of their time goes towards their family, then are we really achieving our definition of success? And this is how we're looking at changing the narrative, changing the story of our people. Right? And we have organisations. So I loved it how Dan goes, where's the Māori? And I still ask them, how many Māori you got? Got enough for programming? Not yet. All right? Because we know when you've got a family member that works for Microsoft or ASB Bank or all these organisations, you know the kids, they're going to school and they're celebrating you. We used to do the same just on for gangs. Oh, my dad can beat your dad up. Right? So imagine if it's something aspirational. Hey. So in terms of the difference we're going to make and why it really connects, and I've given a little bit about my story, is because all of us, we all give the best of our times where? And the ones that are most important, are they really getting the rest? Where that's the gap that can't be filled if you weren't here tomorrow. Right? And that's why we challenge our organisations. We want to work with organisations that are brave, right? That are humble enough to know that they're not doing things properly, that are willing to have brave people like myself and the matua there. They had RJ, the kuri, the dog, right? You know, that are brave enough to be able to do that, so when people go to work, they don't mind taking their whole self into work. Right? Because if you can't take your whole self into work, the ones who suffer are the ones you actually care about, right, at home. So that's why we keep talking about, you know, being the solution to our community's issues. We're the solution. And you always hear that whakatauki, what is the most important thing in this world? It is people, it is people, it is people. Well, I know we're in a place of technology. Right? And I know a lot of people, they talk around kaupapa Māori, and they're talking about all these different kaupapa or things that we have to do, right? But why not just develop our people? Why not, instead of making all these little platforms, like, oh, okay, well, basketball's the solution, sport's the solution, right? Technology's the solution. Well, what if we just work with our people? All right? And get them to define what their definition of success and create the platform to do that. All right? So yes, for those who influence, awesome. If not, hopefully you took that message, right? Because if for le ala mea, right? We are the solutions to any of our issues within our community. Tēnā koutou katoa.